Gavin Newsom's palms don't sweat, his respiration doesn't increase, his body temperature doesn't change. Nothing changes in Gavin Newsom when he lies to your face. And there are not that many people like that, actually. That's a rare quality. Like, most people couldn't do that. They'd just be like,
You're saying he's a sociopath. He can lie and not care.
I'm not a psychiatrist, but I don't really know the category, and I'm not going to diagnose him, but I'll just say in 50 years of being around a lot of people, I've met very few who can behave that way. Very, very few. It's a very unusual quality, and of course, it's probably useful in politics.
Is he electable? Is he electable? Yeah, exactly. Are the American people going to see that the way that you see it, or?
Well, as you know, the system in California does not include elections. I mean, it has nothing to do with what the people think. It's a machine state. It's the most corrupt out of 50. Kamala Harris was like despised by most Californians, and she, was a sitting U.S. senator. Poor Dianne Feinstein, my neighbor in Washington. I don't think she was a horrible person, just for the record, but she was non compos menis, and she could have lived well beyond her death as a U.S. senator. So it's not a democratic state, small d democratic state. It's not run on the basis of what the population wants. It's a fixed game in California. And so it does make me very uncomfortable that someone from that political culture, which is an utterly corrupt political culture, an authoritarian political culture, could enter a presidential race. Cause clearly, what are you running on if you're Gavin Newsom? As a native Californian, I know what the state was like in 1985 because I lived there, and it's completely degraded from that time. And how did that happen? Well, part of the big reason is the political leadership in the state. You've got nothing to run on. What are you running? Have you driven through LA recently?
Yes, you might be thinking what Tucker Carlson is saying here is a lie. The more I read about what was going on in LA County and how California has been mismanaged into the ground, literally I am actually dumbfounded how educated people who know how to read and are not living under some rock could vote for people who inflict this kind of pain on others. When I look at Gavin Newsom, something like this is happening. His focus is what people are writing on social media. He's on X. Oh, something to debunk. Oh, this is a lie. This is this. I was like, focus on the ground to see that houses has say that is what Gavin Newsom will be doing. He rushed to a podcast. Can you imagine? Gavin Newsom is having that time to rush to a podcast at this time. When I look at the whole situation, I just had to look it and stay. I have a couple of videos I'm going to show you. You will see clearly the mindset these people have. It is insane to see what this man is doing at this time.
So we just got absolutely clear and conclusive proof that Gavin Newsom is just simply not up for the job that needs to be done right now to deal with this absolute catastrophe in Los Angeles and to lead the process of recovery and rebuilding. Do you know what he just said on some podcast, just dropped just now? He said, when asked about the rebuilding process and getting the ridiculous red tape that we have here in California out of the way, he said that he was going to set up an expedited permit process for rebuilding a house. Do you know what he considers to be expedited? 120 days, that's what he said, 120 days to rebuild one house. What is he even talking about? What kind of mindset and attitude is this? 30 years ago, after the Northridge earthquake, I was just talking to someone who's involved then with Governor Wilson. They rebuilt the 10 freeway, the Santa Monica freeway in Los Angeles. They rebuilt the whole thing in 84 days. Never mind the permit, they did the whole thing. Elon Musk, just now, he built the world's biggest data center, AI data center in Memphis, Tennessee. The whole process from start to finish, from the permitting to building the thing, took 122 days. And Gavin Newsom's talking about 120 days to get the permit for one house. What is this? It is a total joke. It is completely inadequate to the task that is in front of us. On Monday, I will be laying out the steps that we need to take to help people in the short term, to make the changes we need to all this nonsense.
Yes, this guy wrote the war is in a character study in narcissistic sociopathic behavior. Gavin Newsom wants you to know that he is a victim in all of this. He is upset. He is angry. He wants answers. So as LA burned to the ground, he went on a shilly podcast to do brand, PR, crisis management. This is not what leadership looks like. Gavin Newsom says, I want to know the answers. He is launching an investigation to who exactly. I don't understand. People are blaming him. And this other mayor, he is here now claiming, oh, I want to launch an investigation. I'm doing this, I'm doing that at the same time. I don't understand. This guy can lie to your face, like Tucker Carlson said at the beginning of this video. You will still not get it. There is no person that can lie more than this man.
I want to know the answers. So I'm the governor of California. I want to know the answer. I've got that question. I can't tell you about how many people, what happened. My own team saying what happened, and I want to get the answers. And I'll be candid with you, wasn't getting straight answers.
Yeah.
I watched the press conference. I met with some of those leaders. We had my team start talking to local leaders, saying what's going on. Our state.
And you weren't getting straight answers from
I was getting
leaders.
different answers. When you start getting different answers, then I'm not getting the actual story. And they're assessing it. And I get that as well. You have to have a little bit of grace, back to the point. We're in this emergency environment and everything else. So I just want to determine the facts. But no one has any patience anymore. In this weaponized, back to the grievance of Trump, everyone else, there's immediacy. And lies travel the proverbial world. I called for him to come out, take a look for himself. We want to do it in the spirit of an open hand, not a closed fist. He's the president-elect. I respect the office. We have a president of the United States that within 36 hours provided a major disaster declaration over a text. We had support from the president of the United States, Joe Biden, with 100% reimbursement, all the resources you could hope for or imagine, constant communication. I'd like to extend that to the president-elect. I don't know what he's referring to when he talks about the Delta smelt in reservoirs. The reservoirs are completely full, the state reservoirs here in Southern California. That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us. Responding to Donald Trump's insults, we would spend another month. I'm very familiar with them. Every elected official that he disagrees with, very familiar with them.
We do know, though, from reporting here locally that one reservoir that serves the Palisades was not full.
And that's exactly what triggered my desire to get the investigation, to understand what was happening with that local reservoir. That was not a state system reservoir, which the president-elect was referring to as it relates to the Delta and somehow connecting the Delta smelt.
You can see the man playing the victim here. At the same time, a reporter realized he is still struggling to lie. He immediately responded. Everybody knew that reservoirs were not full. We saw that on social media, videos came out. But the way he's putting it here is totally different. It is concerning to see someone like this lie every time. Trump is not the president. He is calling his name every single minute. Gavin Newsom cannot speak now. Someone told me he is preparing to run as a president. Reason you see him struggling to play this both sides. It is high time people realize who this man is.
There's already talk, and we played a couple of sound bites of reimagining the way rebuilding occurs. And obviously there's a great need for high density housing in California and across the country. That's a big push, folks. And you're already hearing rumblings of that. In this case, like goodbye single family homes, hello high density housing.
Yeah. It's pretty scary, and it'll take decades to do that too. It's like even if it if it's a good idea, which I don't know if it is, but reminds me of the old cattle barons clearing people off the land, But I don't know. I can make all kinds of horrible theories up in my head, conspiracy theories and everything else, but it just seemed a little convenient that there was no water, and and that the wind conditions were right, and that there are people ready and willing and able to start fires.
Looking at Mel Gibson is like he knows something, but he cannot speak up. When you look at him clearly, he has a lot of things to say, but I don't know. I just saw this video on Fox News. It was important. I decided to show you again this short clip.
The entire city of the Pacific Palisades is burning. And, I flew here last night. I was on the plane, started getting texts.
So I am evacuating my home.
What we need to do against what we know is right. And these are the results.
Trump is now calling that Gavin Newsom should step down.
This is you getting water to areas that need water because there are fires in 100-mile-an-hour winds burning houses to the ground. I watched on a Ring camera a guy have to sit and watch his pet burn to death. You know, those things are issues of the heart when you watch a cherished little pet, or, you know, it's just you.
The situation is beyond control. I'll be updating you, giving you more information to what I'm observing on social media. I didn't want to report this, but people keep sending this to me. God bless you.
Health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
What do we do?
Right now you're looking history, remember it.
As a country about James.
Yeah, we were just talking about the wildfire situation and how crazy it is that they
still funny. And then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know, but it's like, you know, it's sad.
I want to be,
Jim Jordan.
In the 5 tenets of the First Amendment.
Like this Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Big lying machine that's going on.
This is on building material.
So as we continue to prepare into this next event we're coming forward to,